Hey Seth, I'm good. Running a little bit late this morning, so I'm taking the interview from my car, but it's actually a nice little sound booth, so I think it'll work. Hmm. Always. Yes. Yeah. So we're really excited for our Futures in History Day Camp. We've been doing this for several years. We've kind of revamped it in the last couple of years. We're going to be offering three opportunities for hands-on summer learning geared for kids ages like 9 to 12. Um, and kids who have an interest in history, the arts, the humanities, all that kind of fun stuff. This year we'll have our full week of mini camp or their full week of day camp, which will be June 23rd through the 27th. And in that day camp, kids explore everything from museum studies to environmental studies, civics and advocacy. They'll get to talk to some elected officials. They'll get to go around all over town. We go to the David Davis Mansion. They do archaeology. They do a simulated archaeological dig at the David Davis Mansion. And then they also go out to Rivian and get a tour of the plant there. And we kind of just talk about basically all of the different ways that history is intertwined in our world today. So that is our full camp. And then we're offering two mini camps in July. One will be called Discovering Downtown. And that's going to be like a behind the scenes look at downtown Bloomington, the art, the architecture. The kids will get a behind the scenes tour of the museum as well as the BCPA and a couple of other spots around town that we're looking at finalizing. And that is a new offering this year. We've never done this one before. We've been working with some students from ISU to develop it. And I think it will be a really cool experience to kind of learn more about how the city works. And then our other mini camp is going to be called Curious Curators. We did this mini camp last year as well. This really focuses on museum studies. So again, the kids get a behind the scenes tour of the museum and of our collections. And then they basically put together their own exhibit. And we do a really fun opening reception at the Hangar Art Company, which is located just across the street from the museum in downtown Bloomington. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely. 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 And even for kids who just find history to be interesting, I know so many people who have jobs that have nothing to do with history, but they love history. And I think that it's really valuable to kind of understand how we've gotten here in a way, I think it's really applicable. And more than anything, our summer camps are fun. The kids always have a good time. It's a really unique experience. I've not heard of any other summer camps like this. So we really hope people sign up and get some kids that will enjoy it. Yep. Yes. That is such a great question, Seth. I do not remember off the top of my head how much it is. It's I think it's like 100 for the full camp. I'm going to encourage folks to go to mchistory.org to find out. We also do have, if you sign up multiple kids, there's like a discount. And for families with an average annual income of, I believe it's 36,000 or less or something like that, there are opportunities for reduced sign up fees. Hmm. Yes, she will know. Mhm. Yeah. Candace has worked on it for several years. She's actually, we've had some recent kind of staff shifts at the museum. We've had one huge retirement. Our curator, Susan Hartsold, retired in February. And our archivist, George Perkins, is going to retire here at the end of this month now. It's April. So we've shifted some roles around. So Emily is kind of Candace's uh, not predecessor, but protege, perhaps. I don't know. But she's kind of running it now. But Candace has, of course, had a hand in it and will help execute. Hmm. 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 Yeah, the cap is at 15 kids. So, yeah, space is limited, but there are those three opportunities for different engagement. And I think worst case scenario, I think we're working on recruiting volunteers and stuff. So again, that might not be that might not be completely correct. I believe that's what it is, but it's always flexible. Um, we'll if there are kids that are interested, we'll make it work. Mhm. mchistory.org. Mm-hmm. 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 Well, tomorrow we are having our History Makers honoree reveal. So we're excited to announce we'll have three history makers this year, and they will be honored at our annual fundraising gala on June 18th. It's a Wednesday. It will be held at ISU's Brown Ballroom. It's a fun evening with great food that ISU always has, and storytelling and just community, and it's a fun evening. So we're looking forward to announcing those honorees tomorrow. And then this weekend is Slow Art Day. That's an internationally observed holiday, if you will. Um, Downtown Bloomington, for several years until this year, has been the largest citywide celebration in the world. We are beaten out this year by Mexico City, but I do think if you compare the per capita, we're still doing pretty good. So there are, I believe, 18 participating locations in Bloomington alone. But I know that there are several, I believe there's some like in Pontiac and kind of throughout the state. So if folks are interested in that, they can check out, if you just Google Slow Art Day 2025, you'll get a list of all of the participating locations. But the whole idea behind Slow Art Day is to encourage folks to spend time looking at art. So often we buzz by it, it's something that's just hanging kind of static on the walls. This is kind of an initiative to get people to take a breath, to enjoy art, to look at it, to ponder it, and then talk about it. So all of the locations in downtown Bloomington will be free, including the museum. We'll have some artwork from our collection on display, and then there are 12 galleries within a six block radius in downtown Bloomington, very walkable. That people can hit up. So I highly encourage people to check that out. That's going to be Saturday. Everywhere in downtown Bloomington for Slow Art Day will be open and free from 10 to 2 p.m. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Some places might have longer varied hours, but that's kind of like the consistent, like if you go from this time, you will be able to see art. So there's more information about that on our website as well at mchistory.org. If folks want to see, maybe there is another location a bit closer to them, I would highly recommend you can just Google Slow Art Day 2025 and a whole list of participating locations will come up as well. Yeah. Mhm. 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 Yeah. Yeah, so all of the history makers are nominated by community members. We all year round accept applications for history makers. And then there is a volunteer committee of about 7 folks, some museum board members, some not. I sit on the committee as well as a few other staff members, but we are mostly there just to kind of make sure we're in the loop and know what's happening. It's all of the decisions are made by the volunteers on the committee from this pool of people who have been nominated by other community members. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Absolutely. So the history makers, kind of the overarching criteria, if you will, are people who have lived in McLean County for a significant portion of their lives and really contributed to the overall well-being and growth of the community. So we have had all kinds of honorees, from basketball coaches to priests to activists to professors, former elected officials. It's really kind of a grab bag of folks with really diverse and interesting stories. Everybody's a little bit different. Business people, teachers. And I think that's one of my favorite parts about this, is that it's not just necessarily the people that are, affluent and that are big philanthropists. Like, these are people who have lived everyday lives but have dedicated their lives to making history, to changing things, to be a better place to live and to inspire future generations with their service and with their work. Exactly. Exactly. Mhm. Yeah, so it varies by year. Last year we honored 6 individuals. The year before that, 4. This year we have 3. Um, and it kind of just depends. We originally had 5 honorees, and a couple had to drop out due to health reasons, which we totally understood. But it was just also, we're gonna just move on with the ones that we already selected this year. We had over 30 nominations this year, 30 new nominations. So it kind of just depends. And that's a conversation that happens within the committee to ensure that we have kind of a well-rounded group, and then two, that we um, can do everyone's story justice. We don't want to like pack it with like 10 honorees, and then not be able to, because what we essentially do is we conduct oral history interviews then with each of the honorees. And this year we'll be putting together videos. So in the past, we've done a live theater performance at the gala. This year, we're creating 3-minute long, like, little kind of life overview snapshot stories for each of the honorees. And so then those oral histories and those materials get archived into our archives. Um, so yeah. Mhm. Yes. Yep. We're looking forward to it. Mhm. Yeah. That will be at mchistory.org. Mhm. Yeah, so we're going to be hosting a lunch and learn. Lunch and learns are our monthly learning opportunities, if you will. They happen at 12:10 every third, or sorry, every second Thursday of the month, in person and online. So the whole idea is that it's a bite-sized bit of learning and information, often with a history slant, but not always totally historical. And that this is an opportunity for folks to bring their lunch or just on their lunch hour to tune in and to learn something new. So this month we are going to have Jeff Hake with us, and he's going to talk about um, organizing for a more just and regenerative food system. So that's not something I know much about, and I'm looking forward to learning about that. So that is coming up next Thursday at 12:10 p.m. And folks can tune in either in person at the museum or on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/M Mick History Museum. So MC History Museum. Next Thursday at 12:10 p.m. Yeah, we also have Holy Moly, which we're really excited about. That's a festival happening in Uptown Normal. And that is an event that we are partners in doing. And so that is a cultural celebration of Holi. It's an Indian holiday, and it's the holiday where they throw all the fun colors in the air. So we'll be out there at a table. We've got an activity planned that hopefully it's a hands-on craft activity that all ages can participate in. And then we will be using what is made there to create a rotunda installation for May. The rotunda installations are kind of artistic iterations of some historical fact or theme that then hang in our very beautiful and historic rotunda in the museum. Mhm. 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 Yeah, so on May 2nd, it's Friday, first Friday at 5 p.m., we're going to be unveiling a 10-foot corn sculpture. Some folks may remember back in the year 2000, the sesquicentennial of Bloomington. Mayor Judy Markowitz, as well as Marlene Greger and some other visionaries in downtown Bloomington, uh, decided to do a little bit of a riff off of the cows on parade in Chicago. I don't know if folks remember that, where they had artists basically decorate these cows, and then they were like all throughout the city, and then they auctioned them off. Well, they did the same thing here in Bloomington, but instead of cows, it was corn. So it's called Corn on the Curb. And there were over 20 ears of corn that were decorated and then auctioned off. And all of the ears have been kind of scattered about throughout actually the country now. There's some that are out of state, but um, Herb Eaton is a local downtown Bloomington-based artist, and his corn sculpture, his take, it was inspired by Duke Ellington seeing star-crossed lovers, kind of a riff off the Shakespeare story. So his sculpture is entitled "Star-Crossed Pollinators," and within this corn sculpture, there is a female figure and a male figure. Um, it's very wonderful. It's 10 feet tall. It's campy, it's fun, it's beautiful. So that is going to be going where Santa was on the square. We received a grant from the Illinois Arts Council to help fund kind of the launch of this new initiative, which we're calling Sculpture on the Square, which is going to be aiming to bring different sculpture on a rotating basis to the square in downtown Bloomington for the public to enjoy that all has some sort of local history slant. So obviously, Corn on the Curb, local history monument, if you will. And then we've got future plans with some other local artists as well. So the idea is that, of course, the Livingston Santas, who we all know and love so well, will be up November to January, and then the rest of the year, so like February to November, we'll have a new sculpture for folks to enjoy and to add more public art to downtown Bloomington. Mhm. Mhm. Yep. Mhm. Yeah, please visit mchistory.org. Our website is wonderful. We have all of the information on our many upcoming events, as well as lots of research, resources, and other great information. Thanks for having me, Seth.